change, one thing we need to realize that in life, change is inevitable. Change happens every single day in our lives, whether we choose to see it or not. And one who can tell me what is the one thing that happens regardless of whether you choose or not when it comes to change? Does everybody know? Getting older. Getting older is definitely one of the changes in lives that happen to each and every one of us. But then we don't tend to look at that because we're so focused on life, on how things happen and everything. However, it still happens. And let me tell you something, we embrace it. Whether we choose to like it or not, or accept it or not, we do still have to deal with it, and we have to accept it either way, because it's inevitable. Now, my question to you is this. Why is it that with every single day, a passing day that passes, and even when it comes to our birthdays, when it comes to change, and everyday change when it comes to your age and you guys growing up, we accept it because we know that that's something we can't really change. We deal with it. Now, some people choose to deal with it in a nice way and embrace it. Some people don't choose to celebrate their birthdays every year. That's totally up to you because they're scared of getting old. However, my question to you is this. Why is it that when we go through a sudden change in life, we all suddenly start getting scared, we get upset, and we start thinking that life is not fair to me? Why is this thing happening to me? I was living such a beautiful life with my family, and I was having this beautiful job, and I was getting so much money out of this job, and then suddenly, boom, they just decided to let me go, and now I can't afford the fancy lifestyle, and now maybe that could be one reason. Another thing could be sometimes it's inevitable, like a war in your country, where you're forced to leave the country, and then boom, you have to leave. What do we do when such changes happen? This is this subject for tonight, okay? This is for anyone right now, or anybody who faced this recently, or anyone who's going to face this in the next couple of days. This is something that I want you guys to hold on to, and I want you to look at change as something positive. I'm going to give you the number one reason people do not like change is ideally because it shakes you. It basically gets you out of your comfort zone. Nobody likes to be moved out of the comfort zone because it means we need to work harder. It means we need to start over. It means we need to do 1, 2, 3. You could be crazy in love with someone and you're having this beautiful relationship that you think you're having, but then suddenly the other person decides to break up with you, and suddenly your life is not the same anymore. You need to go through a change of life, a change of the way you used to feel, a change of someone expressing to you they love you or they don't love you anymore. That's one of the most painful kind of changes, I would say. Another painful kind of change is that, like I said, when you have to move from one country to another country by force, for example. And what happens is oftentimes when we go through changes, the first thing the human mind tends to do is that fight it. We tend to fight it. We don't tend to embrace it. We start not accepting it. We start, guys, I don't see what is the number one reason that makes us feel like it's not happening for us, or we are the unlucky ones, or why is this happening to me? And we put our mind in this negative place where it's like, my God, I can't believe I'm going through this change. Why am I going through this change? How am I going to survive that now that things have changed? How am I going to live now without this person that used to love me so much? How am I going to live without the job that I used to have? How am I going to survive without money? How am I going to live in a country where I don't know how to live with people? Or I wanted to say is that ideally, when it comes to embracing change, it's never easy. But I have some good news for you. And I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. And I'm here to share with you guys a few tips. So if you're someone who's going through a sudden change in your life, whether it's a change of atmosphere, change of country, maybe you're going through, God forbid, a divorce or a breakup or something, it's a change. It's a change of lifestyle. It's a change of the way you have to be. Maybe you lost someone that you love. I'm here to tell you the good news is you got this, and it's time to embrace change. Because remember how I told you about the age thing? Every single day is a passing day, and every single day we go through the change, and the change is growing up. We don't notice that we're getting older day by day, but then when you look at yourself or you look at your old pictures versus your new picture is when you realize, oh no, I've actually grown up. Look at my wrinkles on my face. Look at my white hair. Look at this. Look at that. I'm not as fit anymore. I'm not this. But then we embrace that every single day because we don't look at it as something negative, okay? So what I wanted to share with you guys is that it's time for us to look at change. I have my notes here, and I just have to make sure that I'm looking at my notes because I actually take these sessions very, very seriously to try and come. You need to learn how to accept it. It's happened. The change that you're going through has happened. You lost your job. It's happened. You lost your loved one. Unfortunately, it happened. The breakup happened. It happened. You got, God forbid, into a car accident. It happened. You missed the bus. It happened. What can we do about the things that already happened? Can we think of going back in time? We all wish sometimes we could go back in time and wish that our lives are different. We all wish that certain things did not really happen. But can we really do that? Nope. So number one thing that we can do when it comes to change is embracing it and accepting it. Oftentimes, a lot of things in our lives will be so much easier if we learn how to accept them. Because fighting something is only going to make it difficult for you to accept that life is not going to go back to the way it used to be. You were in love with a person and you guys were together maybe many years and you were hoping that you're going to be married with this person and you literally have this vision that you wanted to build a life with this person. You're going to have a family with this person. This is the person that you wanted to see when you're 70 and 80 and 100. I don't know. And then boom, you guys break up. And suddenly everything has to change in your life because life is not the same anymore. What are we going to do? Sit in our beds and cry all night? Keep blaming God for the things that are not happening in our lives? Keep questioning the universe or God and saying things like, why is this happening to me and why am I unlucky? When it comes to change, guys, is learning to accept. The number one reason people are usually upset when it comes to change is the fact that they're in denial. They want everything to go back to the way it used to be, even if the life was actually shit, but they prefer to be in the comfort zone. Nobody likes change. Not a lot of people embrace change. Some people take a lot of years to embrace change. Some people can take maybe 2 or 3 days, depending on how positive and how optimistic they are. Some people will never accept change. I always like to talk about me as my example. I want to share with you guys a quick story about my life. Those of you who know, I was born and raised in Kenya, and I basically lived my life there for like almost 19, 20 years. That was my life. That was my family. That's where I had my school, all my beautiful memories, my friends, each and everything. My first cat, because now I have a beautiful cat who's watching me right now. Love you, boo-boo. And what happened was, eventually, when I turned almost 20, I had to leave the country. And unfortunately, to share with you guys is basically, I went through a change. And in my opinion, it was a horrible change. It was a completely horrible change because I had to not just change my life, but I was like, they were trying to change me as a person. I literally had to accept the fact that my life in where I was born and brought up was not going to happen anymore. I had to say goodbye to my life, to my friends, to my house, to everything, to my beautiful memories. And I had to move to a country that I didn't know anyone. And I had to start making new memories. And anybody who's moved to a new country is probably going to know that it's horrible when you have to move to a new country and you don't know people or you don't have friends at the age of 19 or 20. I felt sorry for myself enough. But that change was something I refused to accept. I just hated that place so much. I hated it. I just was crying myself to sleep for so many months, and I just wanted out of that place. I refused to accept that I was in that place. I refused to see the good in the place. I refused to see the good in the people. I just kept telling myself, I hate it here. I hate it here. I don't want to be here. And let me tell you what happened to me. I literally was about maybe 50 something kgs, okay? And I literally went all the way to 42 kgs. It was eating me up alive, that change that I hated. I was like, I kept crying myself to sleep every day. I never wanted to be in that country. I just I didn't belong there, is what I kept telling myself. And what was happening, because I kept feeding my brains with negativity, guess what I kept attracting? And this is why I always come on here and I preach what I say, when I say what I say, because I've lived it. I know what it's like when you have a negative mindset. I have experiences that can make you or break you. Ideally, they always make you after they break you, okay? There is no such thing as a punishment. Nothing in life is a punishment. You need to go through something for you to grow. Because for you to level up, you have to go through changes. Believe it or not. Now, let me explain to you what happened. I went through so much shit. I was so miserable. I was so upset. I was depressed. When I say depressed, I was on antidepressants, which was really bad, guys, for very many months. And all I was attracting in my life was nothing but more negativity. No one in my family would understand what I was going through because I couldn't really tell them anything, because they're like, hey, accept it. But then I know that I was unhappy every single day. Why is that? This is exactly the subject that I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's because I did not accept change. I was fighting it. I was fighting it for a whole year. And that 1 year that I went through all the depression that I went through, and I lost the weight that I lost my weight, it was quite scary. If I look at my pictures today, it's a bit shocking to see myself as thin as that, because I was literally a twig. And on top of it, I was just not happy. And the reason that happened is because I refused to accept it. I refused to accept that my life has changed. I refused to accept that my life in Kenya was no longer, and I was just reliving in the past. It's very easy for us to live in the past, but I wanted to tell you guys is that when I look back in my life right now, I realize that I wasted 1 year of my life being sad and miserable because I had no choice. Eventually, I was going to have to accept that that's my reality. And do you know what happened as soon as I learned how to accept that that was my reality? Believe it or not, life started smiling at me. Beautiful things started happening to me. I started looking at the place with a different, I would say with different glasses. And I started looking at the beautiful things around me and the beautiful people around me. And as soon as I started doing that, guys, my mental and emotional state started getting better. It is not life that is going to get better for you, and then you start being happy and being accepting. You need to accept. You need to be happy. You need to decide that I want to see the good in things for things to start showing up for you. And believe it or not, if there's one thing I want you guys to take from everything that I'm saying today, take this. There is no such thing as the perfect time or things are going to change and then you're going to be happy. You need to decide that I want to be happy and I choose to accept things the way they are. And thank you, Mario. And eventually you're going to see that things are going to start looking up for you, looking up to you. To guys to realize that there is some good in this world. Life is full of challenges. You can decide to either accept the challenges and you decide that I'm going to go through it no matter what and I'm going to come out stronger, or I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to let it defeat me. You should never be defeated. Because life is going to keep throwing challenges at your face. Change is going to keep happening. You are going to keep going through change in life. And sometimes the changes are not always good. Sometimes the changes are painful. Sometimes the changes happen without you wanting them to happen. How many of you have lost jobs that you thought you were going to be there? How many of you have literally got into marriages and kind of got divorced? How many of you got into relationships where you thought they were going to last and they just ended up badly? How many of you thought you were never going to live to see the day, God forbid, you lose your father or your mother or your sister or your brother, and then they were taken in front of your eyes? How many of you have lost someone that you never wished you wanted to lose? But they are always going to happen. All of us have been through that. And this is why I want to tell you guys, when you go through change, please do not look at it as a bad thing. It is painful. It's never going to be easy sometimes. Believe it or not, even the good changes in life, like when you want to be married, which is a good change, right? Because you're starting a new life with the beautiful person that you want to build with. Or when you move to a beautiful country because you want to move to a beautiful country, it's still not going to be easy. So the number one thing you need to realize is acceptance. And please, and I'm telling you this, positive mindset. And my holidays were still happening. The minute I decided to say enough is enough, I am here. This is my home. I can't go back to my old reality. This is my reality now. I need to decide this is where my life is and how can I make it better for me? I swear to God, I don't have to swear. I started seeing the most beautiful things in front of my eyes. I realized that I was making my own money. I realized that, damn, this is where my life is now. And believe it or not, I actually started making new friends, beautiful friends with the same mindsets. And we used to have so much fun on the weekends together. I'm not saying that everything changed, because there's still going to be things that you don't want to happen. But all these things only happened because I decided that it's time for me to start looking on the bright side. Things are working out for me. Change has happened. And I'm telling you, fast forward 8 or 6 or 7 months, years, I actually love that place. It was home. It was home for me because I made it my home. Guys, home is not where you were born. Home, in my opinion, is not where your parents are from. Home is where you choose to make it your home. When you learn how to stay flexible. What do I mean by staying flexible? Staying flexible meaning is that realize that you are in a different place. Things are not going to be the same as they used to be. The food is going to be different. The people are going to talk different. The weather is different. The way of life is going to be different. Maybe even work time is different, depending on whatever it is. Yeah, I'm talking about me, my situation that happened. But what is very important is that you need to adjust your expectations and be flexible to be open to see and accept whatever is there around you. Because, for example, you could be in a different country and in that country you have amazing food or the food that you kind of like, and then you go to a different country and you don't know the kind of food that you are. You are in a relationship and you're so used to getting good morning, good evening, good afternoon text from your habibi or habibti. Habibi, I miss you. Habibi, I love you. Habibi, I can't live without you, and all the crap that goes with it, right? And then boom, breakup happens. No more habibi to call you in the morning. No more habibi to text you. What are you going to do? Sit around and cry? Yeah, do that. Cry. Cry for a day. Cry for 2. Cry for 3. But are you going to keep crying? Girl, guy, seriously? Stop it. I want to wrap things up. Another one is very important, guys, is that when we go through change, and then change is not always easy, it's difficult. One of the good things that you can do is to try and be connected with someone that you can confide in, someone that you trust, someone that you can open up to. Because, and usually those people could be either your friends or your family, friends and family from where you used to live, if it's a place of change, whether it's a relationship breakup again. I'm pretty sure we all have best friends or close friends or family that we can speak with. If it's the fact that you lost your job, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have friends that you can talk to. It's always important to talk to people, because what happens is that when you're always going to keep everything inside, guys, eventually there's going to come a time where it's all going to come out as a negative thing. We all know that if we do not start talking to people, or if we don't try and take out the negative emotion, it builds up, and before you know it, you turn into this monster. Whether you're going to just blow up one day, or you're just going to erupt in a bad way, you're going to start getting really angry or frustrated, or maybe even fall sick sometimes. Seek support, yeah? Share your feelings. Let people know how you feel. There's always going to be someone who can be a little more compassionate with your situation and try and help you. Thank you. Very important is self-compassion, because we can sit there and we can whine and we can complain about all the things that are not working for us. He left me because I'm ugly. He left me because I'm fat. She left me because I'm not handsome. They fired me because I'm not a smart man or I'm a smart woman. I had to leave this country, and my house was broken into, and I lost everything that I had. Thank you, because I'm unlucky. Stop being so hard on yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself, because it's not your fault that sometimes things happen. And self-compassion is very, very important during trying times. It's very important because life is hard around you. You have two choices. You can either give in to that situation and be miserable and make yourself even more difficult and make things difficult for yourself, or choose to be a little happy and just be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Last and not least is two more, is focus on the present, because you are where you are for a reason. And accept it, like I said, my journey and how I decided to accept it. And as soon as I started to accept it, things changed for me. Life started getting better for me. I started seeing the beautiful pink and blue and green and purple and all the glitter and all the beautiful colors around me, which I wanted to see, because life wasn't so bad. Learn. Get to learn stuff. What is this trying to teach you? The change that you're going through. I'm talking about the changes that you're going through that you didn't choose. Why is it happening? What can I learn from this? How can I make myself stronger from this change? How can I make sure that I am not going to repeat the same mistakes I made last time when I went through such change? And lastly, is to always visualize a positive outcome. I just gave you my example again. 7 months without a job does not mean I'm going to die. I know that I'm not going to start begging on the streets for sure, because I know it happened, unfortunately, the way it happened, and I know that I'm giving my 100%, and I know that my God is good, and I know for a fact that my best is yet to come, because I haven't stopped believing, I haven't stopped working on it, and every day is a learning curve. Every day is a day closer to me getting what I want, and I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. You went through a breakup, you're not speaking to Habibi anymore, it's not the end of the world. Two things. There's 8 billion people in this world, and I keep telling you guys that. If it's a guy, it's probably about 4 billion people. Do you know how many men those are? That's a lot of numbers. If it's women, it's even a lot more. Can you imagine? So if you think that you had fallen this hard for one person, what makes you think that out of all those zeros in the billion, you're not going to find someone else to love you just as well? Or treat you better, maybe? Take care of you, love you, and remind yourself just the way you went through it, you got through it, same thing. Salam shows. You will get through it. But always focus on the positive outcomes. You've got to leave your country, you had to go to another country. Must be a beautiful country. There must be something in that country that you want to go and see, explore. There must be something right in that country. Love yourself. Things are going wrong. What are the things that are going right? With every wrong thing that's happening, believe it or not, there are some good things that are happening. Take things easy. Love yourself. When you're going through the hardest time in your life, guys, that's the time you need to love yourself even more. That's the time where you need to embrace your compassion for yourself. That's the time where you need to be kind to yourself, because that's the only way that you can actually overcome whatever it is you're going through.